Getting everything started here. All right, everybody, this is Mr. Everything and
Aaron
Nightwing.
Sandoval.
It's Nightwing,
Whatever.
Whatever. We are coming back with another episode of Filling the Void. This is for you guys to... it's a news show, basically. We're going to review what's happened in the last 2 weeks. We do this every other week, every Monday. Every other Monday, that is, at 8 p.m. So come check us out. And we started a little late today. Aaron's working with getting a new green screen set up. We're trying to get that set up, and so that's taking a little bit of time right there. But what we're going to do now is we're going to talk Star Citizen. Okay, so Aaron,
Yeah.
what have you been doing in the last couple of weeks to, like game related? And don't say, I know you're going to say this, working. No, don't say that.
Well, game
doing?
related, just been, running around in the persistent universe, checking out things, doing a lot of vandal swarms, and just going in and playing around and getting used to the environment, controls, stuff like that, checking out the shops, and keeping up with the news.
Absolutely. Well, what I've been doing is streaming every midnight. I have my Star Citizen stream. I only stream for about an hour and a half or so, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on the activity of people that are logged in at the time and what kind of interaction I'm getting with the community. But mainly what I'm doing that for, it's not for me because there's not a whole lot to do, and it's not the content right now is kind of lacking in Star Citizen, as you know. But what it does for the community is it lets people see what Star Citizen is about. They can have an opportunity to ask someone that's been around since the day one, and you can ask any kind of question and see some changes. And later today, we're going to talk about some of those, some like the Bengal carrier. We're going to talk about that. And there's a couple of points about the Bengal carrier I want to bring up that I've heard on other live streamers' streams that were all incorrect. And I want to point that out. Not that they are totally incorrect, because they're only partially incorrect. But and again, things might have changed, but I don't think they have. I don't think they've changed, because what CIG is doing is exactly what they promised back in the early days, and everybody's saying, well, that's not what they originally promised. We're getting extra bonus stuff. And I'm like, no, we're not.
No.
We're getting what they promised. Okay, but we've got like 15 different things to talk about. And because remember, we're doing 2 weeks worth of news in one show. And with the 2 weeks worth of news, we're also covering a couple of episode 100s, right? Episode 100 part 2 and part 3.
Correct.
And in these episode 100s, they've put out more information than they've put out in like 6 months worth of news in the past. So,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of information that's flooding the Star Citizen community, and we need to kind of we're going to talk about it. Okay. And hold off on any questions or comments in the chat. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to comment in anything you want in the chat, but we're not going to really take any questions until closer to the end. So just FYI. All right, now right here, you can see my screen, right? Or I got the Reliant right there. Okay, we're going to talk about the Reliant for just a minute or so. The Reliant's going to be flyable. What, 2.5?
2.5.
2.5. So, are you excited about that?
I haven't got one yet, but
I'm not excited about it.
I'm not.
I'm going to be honest. I don't give a shit about it.
I've got my Connie. I'm happy with my Connie.
Exactly. I mean, there's 100 people out there that's got Reliance, right? And they're super excited to get their Reliant and fly it. And it's the second ship that flies vertical instead of horizontal. Like everything else is flying horizontal. And when you take off and you start flying it, the body of the ship turns, right? So that's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
Is it cool enough for me to go run out and buy one? I'm going to have to tell you, no, Okay, I understand that it's about the size of an Aurora, the cargo hold and everything else. It just has these guns way out on the ends of the wings.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a news van also, and okay, that's cool. And you can film some live stuff and show it off on your YouTube stream or whatever. But um, I don't know. I'm a hater. I'm a hater, I guess. I don't like the Reliant. I never did. Thought it was crazy. But I am a fan of having a variety of different ships.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am a fan of other people, if they like the Reliant, they can get the Reliant because I want them to have fun in the game. That's
I could
that's
see it,
yeah.
especially the picture that you're putting up here that I'm looking at. I can see it as somebody setting it up as a luxury liner for ferrying passengers.
A
You
Reliant.
know, yeah,
Okay. I don't know. Can you do like a personnel module in the back?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, I know I could stand in the cargo hold while you fly somewhere.
Right.
That's not a problem. But there's other ships out there that do that better.
Yeah.
But
Not flyable yet, though.
right. But well, I mean, you got the Constellation like you were saying, but it does. But the Constellation probably costs a lot more.
It does.
Right.
A
So
whole lot
so
more.
it's so you get more for less with the Reliant, which is kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Um, okay, let's leave that at that because I don't have a lot of great things or positive things to say about the Reliant. But that's my personal opinion, and everybody's got their own personal opinion, and everybody's got, it's like we won't go there. But okay. Uh, okay, what about the additional locations in Crusader 2.5? Right? They said there's going to be additional locations to visit.
Hex.
Grim Hex, yeah.
Yep. Grim
Yeah.
Hex. The videos that they were showing of the build and all the ambience and the lighting and just all the stuff that they're putting into the design of Grim Hex is awesome.
Right.
Um, I'm excited, although if I've got to be a bad guy just to go there, I'm not sure if I like that, but I want to go there and visit it at least once. It's cool. It's cool looking. Um, just the walking around. They've got different style clothes there that they're talking about bringing out. I don't know if they're planning on bringing them out in Port Olisar too, but I know for Grim Hex, some of the clothing for the new clothing store that's going on Grim Hex, they got different styles.
Yeah, I don't think those
So
styles are going to be available at
Olisar,
Kasaba. Yeah,
right,
because it's a different guy. He's a drug addict. He said he has a little
lives in the back.
lives in the back. All of his stuff's hanging from the rafters and stuff,
Yeah,
and he's just trying to make a living, right?
right.
And he's selling some clothes that Kasaba doesn't want to sell.
Got either that or they got lost in shipment.
Right. Um,
Well, that's like what they were saying about the weapons store. They were showing the weapons store, and they've got these armor suits which look cool, and flight suits and guns. And they're talking about how the guy that runs the place is like a little on the shady side.
right.
You know, so
Right. Okay, so I'm excited about Grim Hex. We're going to talk about Grim Hex all by itself later in just a minute,
right,
but I'm excited about the new location. And from my understanding is when you get into that uh, the vicinity of Grim Hex, you are in an armistice zone. They are saying that it is an armistice zone, so there's not going to be a lot. Anybody can be shooting anybody. So even though we're not pirates, we can still visit there and not get shot at. But they
right.
but they also said that there will be parts of Grim Hex that
Yep.
are open, weapon free. And so that's going to be fun. You're going to see a lot of people going to those sections of Grim Hex to engage in FPS, and that's fine. I don't have a problem.
Well,
You might have to take the elevator down to the bottom or something, and then all of a
they
sudden,
said lower levels.
right, and then you
And
take
they said there's even room to set up, less than savory shops. If you've got some contraband you want to sell, of course you can't sell it up in the main floor of Grim Hex because of security and it being a what's the word I'm looking for?
Armistice,
No, the illegal
control.
control contraband. But there's nothing stopping you from going down a couple of levels to the shadier side, as they refer to it, and
Right.
making your deals down there.
That's right. Um, Now they let's since we're talking about Grimhex, let's just continue on to the Grimhex thing. But they did show when you were watching the Grimhex videos. There's a couple of them. There's one where they talk about sound, and then there's another one where they talked about lighting. But
Right,
in one of those, they when they talked about I think it was the sound one. He talked about that they have certain default sounds in certain areas, like ambient sounds, right?
right,
And then when you get closer to certain areas, that sound, a certain area sound will get louder, like a creaking metal or a
right.
sparking whatever, right? But one, if you noticed, if you
They're
read,
they're triggered sounds.
I'm right now when you look at the ambient sound list, they had them, like yellow and red and green and orange, and color coded. When you go all the way down, like two or three from the bottom, there's one called Racing Tunnel. Okay, so Racing Tunnel. I have to address this because early on, when racing was introduced to Star Citizen, they were going to make two or three different types of races. And one of them was going to be, racing around the city or whatever in between that. And then there was going to be these long endurance races that you had to run or from the planet to the sun through a binary or whatever all the way back to another planet. I can't remember which planet system that's in, but there's like this uh, race that's super dangerous because you have to fly so close to the sun to go through the ring that your shields will fry and your ship will burn up and stuff like that. So you got to be like super careful in certain areas. And then the third type is the weapons free racing. And if they have an ambient sound for the racing tunnel at Grim Hex, I do think that that's the perfect location for like a weapons free type racetrack. And that now, if it is true that Grim Hex is going to be in Yella, the yellow moon with the asteroids and all that, I can
Right,
see where they would say you have to like race around this moon to get back to Grim Hex or something like that, and you got to do so many laps or whatever. But the weapons free. What do you think about that? You think that's possible or no? Am I just
in the
being
race.
in the race? Yeah, weapon. Well, if it's going to be weapons free, because as soon as you, even if Grimhex asteroid is an armistice zone, once you get far enough away in the race,
Right,
the weapons are going to become active, and
right.
then you can just start blasting people.
Yeah, but to me,
Yeah,
a race is a race. A race isn't about can you shoot this other guy so you can get ahead of him. A race is about who's got the faster, who flies better, who's willing to take that chance and keep it at max speed until the last possible second when you need to hit the brakes to make this turn and get through this ring in time and then punch it back up to speed. You know, you start being able to shoot people during a race, it's like, why even bother?
you're a
It's
stick in
like
the
that.
mud.
Well, it's like that death race. It's like
Death
that
race. Yeah, yeah, death
death
race.
race.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, it was a good movie, okay, but the premise was just so stupid. It's like, why even race? Just go out there and try it, and last man standing wins, okay? Because that's basically what it's coming down to: is he who shoots first and destroys everybody else wins the race.
It gives the people that are trigger happy something to do.
I understand that,
Because,
and they
because
can go out and kill all the vandals they want. There's plenty of them out there.
there's people
Uh,
out there that just
there's
want to shoot
people out there.
people, and they
I
will they will shoot people at any chance they get, or they'll ram them, or they'll
hmm
whatever. And there are um, people that don't have any kind of social um,
like
throttle, like they can't control themselves, and if they can't control themselves, they'll just start shooting people. But okay, so but you think it could be? I think it could be possible,
yes,
and I think it's going to happen. and I do think that like the M50s, okay, they're going to be faster, right? And so, or the R350s, right? They're going
Yeah.
to be fast enough where they're going to outdistance the Hornet or the Saber that might be able to blow you away. By the time it gets out of the armistice zone, you'll already be long gone.
That's true.
So, why do I want to race a Saber with guns? I
Yeah.
don't, because I'm just going to all of a sudden just initiate a dogfight, and that doesn't help me win the race because the M50 that I'm trying to shoot, he's long gone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I'm going to be in the race, I'm going to be in either the 350R or the M50,
Right, exactly.
just
Or
because of the maneuverability of it for getting through those rings and whatnot. You try to fly a Saber through them rings, especially in them short distances where they like put them like one right after another. So it's kind of like you bank left, bank right, bank left, back and forth to
yeah,
get through them in the quick turns.
the
You ain't
Saber
going to make
doesn't
it in the
turn
same.
well. I've noticed
No,
the
it
Saber
doesn't.
doesn't turn well. But what about the Misk Racer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
the,
good
the
one.
the secret whiteboard reveal of a Misk Racer. We
Or
don't.
the other one, what's the new one that's coming out now? The single man looks like a motorcycle.
Dragonfly.
Uh, Dragonfly.
It's not gonna be fast. It's not gonna be
Now,
fast. Not like that.
can
It's
you
not.
imagine if you could tinker with that and put some like awesome
Put
engines on it and
Yeah.
make a racer out of
Put the
it?
Herald engines on it.
Yeah.
No, no. I have a Dragonfly. I, I
Yeah.
I'm gonna use it on the ground though. I'm gonna use it to explore planets and stuff like that. And it's a two-seater. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about. I'm skipping the Bengal carrier. We're gonna save that for later because I've got a video that I want to show off, and we want to talk about that. But they announced that the Argo is going to be released at
Yep.
Gamescom, right?
Yep.
Gamescom. Gamescom's coming up. There's CitizenCon and then there's Gamescom, and those are the only two real events that are going to happen, right?
Right.
CitizenCon is a private, uh, in-house. It's not a convention. It's just a hey, we're going to show everybody what we're doing for the
Right.
last for the
And
last year.
and all the backers and subscribers get invites to it. And then, of course, it's all the studio people will be there, the producers and whatnot for each of the different sections, and
Right. It's like a trade show, but only with one company. You
only
know.
basically within house.
Right. And that's fine. And then they usually do reveal something super important at CitizenCon. And if you noticed, last year 2.4 came out.
Right.
No, take it back. 2.0 came out. That's
2.0.
where, yeah, that's where we got the persistent universe and we got to fly around in it. And so the microverse, but that was a big change. I mean, before that we were just doing arena commander stuff, and then now they're talking about maybe 2.7, which they're going to reveal the procedural planets and all the like you can fly from orbit to the planet and land, walk around, and stuff like that. So that to me is a big change also. But Gamescom, right? The Argo coming out at Gamescom. Gamescom in the past, CIG had taken like a stage and they had shown off. They had like Chris would get up there and he'd have like a presentation, PowerPoints, to show off all the cool stuff to the gaming community. This year they are not doing that.
Nope.
They're not doing that. They're going to have a booth on the floor. They're going to man the booth, and people are going to come up, talk to them, and leave, and then they will be demoing something on computers, allowing people to play the game, and then they'll be answering questions. And this booth will be shaped like a Idris bridge or something like that, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So people are trying to read between the lines and say if it's an Idris bridge that they're going to have built, does that mean they're going to be revealing Squadron 42, or does that mean they're going to be releasing the Idris for playability? Or I don't. I'm not. I'm trying not to read between the lines. I'm not that hyped. I think that it might be that, but I think it's just they wanted to make something. They wanted to make
the
something cool.
but the way they were talking
Okay.
about Squadron 42, I think they're getting farther along with it than they expected themselves to be getting along with it.
Right.
So there may be something. I like you said, I don't like reading between the lines either, but just the way that they were presenting stuff about Squadron 42,
Right.
we may be in for a surprise. Maybe
Well, the plan is to have Squadron 42 revealed or released
next
in
year.
in our hand. No, this year.
I thought it
This
was 2017.
no, uh, it's September.
September?
Yeah, but 2016. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't care what you say. We do not have procedural planets. We don't have the item 2.0 systems not fully implemented. They're doing reshoots on motion capture. They're it just seems like I mean all these people are hyped about, oh, all these things mean it's coming out soon. No, it doesn't. They were doing no. It's not gonna make it by the end of the year. I mean, I suspect maybe early next year, and then even then, like you said, 2017.
Yeah, that's what I
But
said.
even then,
2017.
but even then, it's not going to be complete. It's not going to be a complete
we
start to
may
finish
be,
game.
yeah, we may be in doing pre-beta stuff.
Right. I'm thinking that the first couple of missions might be done by the end of the year. Okay, I'll go along with that. The Maru tour might be done, where you get introduced to your new crew and all that stuff.
Right.
I could see that being done. I could see the first dozen missions being done. But there's supposed to be, in this thing, there's supposed to be like 50 plus primary missions, and those missions have sub things you got to do, and there's like
Yeah.
10 per or whatever. They're supposed to be, it's the, just this chapter of Squadron 42 is like this thick. You can't see both my hands. Wait,
Right.
it's like this thick of paper script and stuff, where a normal movie script is only like this thick. There is no way they're going to have it all done. They don't even have the Tavaran finished, and
I know.
you can't. They haven't even revealed anything about the Tavarans, so there's no way. No way. I can see a couple of missions, absolutely. And you know what? Those missions are going to go through the PTU process
Yep.
before it gets revealed. And then you're looking at the Evocati's going to get their hands on it. They're going to play around with it. They probably already are. I mean, I don't know, but
But
yeah. Go ahead.
but looking at it from our squadron point of view,
Right.
those of us that can get into it early, the better we are because, well, Squadron 42 is a requirement for our squadron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the full thing when it comes out, not
Yeah.
But yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna.
but if you can stay up with it, as far as uh, being able having access to it, like we do with the betas and stuff,
Right.
and you can keep up with it when it does come out, then it'll be a lot easier to zip through it
Sure.
and get it done
Because
with.
you'll know where all the missions are, how to
We'll know
complete
where
them
all
and
the
stuff.
missions are and how to
Yeah.
deal with them. And
Right. But that's what I kind of fear that though, because if Squadron 4, and I won't be able to resist when they reveal if they reveal one mission of Squadron 42 and said anybody can play it, I'll be playing it.
yeah,
But
me too.
but that mission might change, or they might realize, oh, it's too easy, and they change it, or they say it's too hard and they might change it, and
Well, yeah, it's all going to have tweaks.
that's going to ruin my experience because because when they actually finally release it in the way it's supposed to be, I will have already flown through it 100 times and say, this is easy, blah 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 blah, and I don't want that. I want a virgin experience. Like I want to be able to go through it like, ooh, this is so cool. Oh, I got to do this and do that, and it'll be like I've been tainted because I've already flown all these missions. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But I'll still do it. I'll still do it, and then when it comes out, I'll just start over and I'll just do it all over again. But that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid it's going to ruin my experience. But I will have the first time experience each time I test it. So when I test it, I'll be like, ooh, this is so cool. And
Yep.
then and then later when they change something, and I go, "Ooh, they changed it for the better," But
Yeah.
then I just won't get that experience when it's complete. Yeah, that's just it. I'll just get them in smaller chunks than one big like weekend. I'll sequester myself in the house and I'll play Squadron 42 for 72 hours or something. Even though my understanding is it's going to take more like 40 hours to play Squadron 42. So we'll see. 40, yeah, 72. Wait, more than that.
My
I'm trying to think.
co-pilot came in to visit me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's but we didn't even talk about the Argo, and that's what this topic was supposed to be about. Okay, so the
It's my
Argo, right?
co-pilot.
Oh, nice. There you go. Look at that. What's his name?
That's a her. That's
Or
Pebbles.
her name? Pebbles. Okay, cool. Okay. So the Argo, right? The Argo is a utility craft
Yep.
for larger ships like the battle cruiser or the carrier or the Idris or the destroyer. They all should have like an Argo on them. I know that the big deal is that the Idris has an Argo on it.
Well, the Connie has a Merlin.
Connie, but that's not a utility vessel. That's more like that's a defense
Yeah, it's
fighter.
it's designed for the Caterpillar
Well,
primarily.
well, the Argo has it's in the Morrow tour. You see a video of it flying in, landing on the Idris, and then they're
Yeah.
unloading cargo, and the new pilot to the ship gets out, and so I kind of look at it like a shuttlecraft on the Enterprise.
It's a
You've
ship to
got
shore.
right. It's something that brings people in from another location or cargo or resupply or something like that. But
And I
I
can see them being used with mining ships,
right,
salvage ships,
right.
So,
And I can see that it's going to be there's supposed to be different modules on it because it looks a lot like a sky crane. You know that old helicopter that had the wheels that stuck out like this and it had the little cargo box underneath and the cockpit was way up front. Remember that helicopter?
yeah.
The sky crane? Well, this one looks just like that, exactly like that, right? So, except if you take it and go and make it small. So you got this cockpit up in the front, the legs stick way out, and then there's this box of cargo that hangs underneath it. And my understanding is there's going to be three versions, three modules, and two of them are going to be ready real soon at 2.5. So hypothetically, I'm thinking one's going to be the cargo module, cargo slash passenger transport module, and then another one, people are speculating it's going to be a rescue module. So if a pilot has to eject or something like that, he'll be able to fly out there and pick it up. But why can't the cargo module do that? They could do that. You
That's
don't,
true.
yeah, you don't need a specific one for rescuing. You can use the passenger carrying cargo module. But the other people are speculating that it could be a mining option, like it'll have mining equipment so we can go out and mine. Why would an Idris need to mine anything? It doesn't.
No,
Capital ships don't go flying around mining stuff, so I don't get that either.
no, it just pulls up next to the mining thing, goes, "Yo, Adrian, give me all your stuff."
Right, right. Or, yeah, so that's silly. I don't think that's what it is. If anything, it would be an early warning uh, like a cat's eye or something, some kind
Yeah,
of ship that could fly out uh, with radar and detect any incoming or search. That's where the search and rescue thing kind of comes in because I can see that
yeah,
working with it. It would go out and it's going to have an enhanced sensor suite. I can see that.
yeah.
That sounds logical to me because remember it's built for a warship. It's not built for a civilian cargo ship. That's not what it's for. So everything's going to be war or battle or combat oriented, in my opinion. I don't think it's just a hey, go out and carry this over there. No. Okay, so enough of the Argo. Let's go on. Right now, we're in the middle of a free fly week,
Yep.
right? So if you are interested in Star Citizen, or you're curious about Star Citizen, go ahead and log in. You can use my key if you want. It's in the chat. It's in the notes. Uh, right there, just click on more and it'll open up and it'll show you my key if you want to use that. and then you type in I think it's called Summer Free Fly 2016, and then you get a full week of Sabre, Hornet, or Mustang action, which is pretty cool. So jump on that if you want to experience Star Citizen if you haven't already. Okay, next thing, two-factor authentication. Have you taken advantage of that?
Sure have. I'm using it now.
I have used it, and I'm going to tell you, I wish I didn't. Okay,
Really?
right. I'm sure it's great for my security, and that's not a problem. That's. I'm glad they've incorporated it, but here I am. Let me tell you the scenario. It's my midnight live stream, and I say, hey, you know what? I'm going to turn on the two-factor authentication. Blah, blah. Turn it on. They emailed me the thing. I put it in the website. Boom, you're good. Okay, everything's good. So I log into the game. It says, what's your code? You got to get a code for logging into the game. So I
Yep.
said, okay, whatever. That means I got to get another code. So I get another code and boom, put it in. I'm in the game. No problem. No problem. Next day, I go to work. Mike, he's at work with me, and he goes, "Hey, what's your code so I can put it in and get give you credit for a referral or whatever." And I was like, "I don't know my code. Here, let me log into the website and tell you." And I log in. It says you can't log in. And I was like, "What?" Because I'm at work, right? Not using my work computer, and it's
Right.
like you can't log in. You can't view your personal profile. And I was like, "Arr!" So I went to my phone. Hey, I'll just log in. You can't log in. Ah! So, so I said, Mike, when I get home, I'll email it to you.
Well, see, what I did,
Yeah,
I
I did
had,
get it at work, but I'm going to
for
talk about
for
that.
Star Citizen, I have my primary email, which uses my home computer.
Right.
But when I set up that authenticator,
Mm-hmm.
I use the one on my cell phone.
Yeah, I know some people did that.
I have a separate email. It's a Gmail
I,
for
I have
that
Gmail.
goes to my cell phone. And
Right.
when I put
It
in
goes to
the
mine too.
notification that I wanted it sent to, I was having problems. You can download the Star Citizen app,
Right.
uh, and I could find it on the computer, no problem, because the link was right there on the website. But when I tried to type it into forget it. I hate trying to find stuff on my cell phone on the internet.
I
It's
know.
just
Right. Right.
so I just went ahead and I put in my email address that's linked to my cell phone. So now, wherever I go, if I log in, it comes to my cell phone and I can just authenticate. And if it's an
Well, that's what
away,
I did. But I had a but I had a problem, I guess, with my cell phone and our Wi-Fi that I was using at my company. Right. When I would pull up the website, and I would try to log in, and it would say, "We've emailed you a code." So then I would switch to my Gmail, and there are the codes right there. Boom, code. So I would copy and paste or copy it. Then I'd go back to the website, and as soon as I go back to the website, it refreshed the page, and it would say, "Hey, do you want to log in?" So I'd click login in, and then I would put the code in, and it would say that code's expired. I'd be like,
huh?
because the problem was my phone, when I clicked back to the website, it would automatically refresh the page. So I was struggling
Okay.
with it. I was like, back and forth, back and forth. But eventually, I got it to work. I was fast enough that I went boop boop and came back and logged in, and then it worked, and I gave him the code and everything. But I was just like, I wish I hadn't signed up for this because then I wouldn't have that problem.
Well, you can turn it off.
Only if you could log in.
Well, yeah,
I
you got to
couldn't
log
log
in
in. I
first,
couldn't
but
log in
you know.
because I would have. Yeah, but that's okay. I'm leaving it on because I value the security more than the hassle.
Right.
So I don't mind the hassle if I'm being safer. And my Star Citizen account's like $1,000, so I don't want I've got all kinds of crap on my Star Citizen account. Okay, so enough of that. Then we got the new patcher. I don't know if you noticed, there was a couple of
Yep.
days ago that when you tried to start playing, the patcher had to update.
Yep.
Uh, what they're doing is they're preparing for this new. I think they called it the D patch or I think they're calling it the D patch, which I don't know what that really means or stands for. But what the gist is, that when you patch the game, you're only going to patch the files that have changed, and
Right.
they're going to leave the unchanged files unpatched. So which is fine because they're the same, right?
Right.
So your patch time should be a lot shorter. You're going to use up a lot less gigabytes, and it'll just make it it's more economical for them. It's more economical for people that have to pay for their usage. It's just better all the way around, and it's
Yep.
faster. So I'm super excited about that. But I know my patcher changed, and I think they're getting ready for that because they said that was coming very soon.
Yep.
They even have to
Two.
in-house. They said in-house when they patch across the studios, they have to patch in full, and they don't want
Right.
to do that. You know.
I think it's supposed to. I think the new patcher is supposed to take effect on the 2.5,
Okay. Well, that's good. Uh,
which is supposed to be our next patch, anyways.
which is the next one? Yeah, coming soon,
Right.
very soon,
So,
very very soon.
yep,
This month, I understand, but we'll see.
correct.
Okay, now we got the cutters, weapons, and armor, and the drug addict ran clothing. Okay, we pretty much already talked about that.
We
But
did.
cutters is the weapons and armor store, and he's only selling energy weapons, right?
Right.
So you're going to get the shotgun, the laser rifle, and the sniper rifle.
But he's also got some interesting armor sets and pilot suits.
Right, because he's
Um,
weapons and armor, right?
right.
As
That are
opposed to
different from what's on Olisar.
right,
Um,
right,
the armor, on Olisar, it's Marine this or Marine that, where this stuff is like supposed to be geared towards the person who wants to be stealthier or more flexible in what they're doing, i.e., the person that's up to unscrupulous stuff and
Well,
needs mobility.
you've seen the bandit armor on the right, like when you walk into the armor store.
Yeah.
You see the bandit armor over there. I think those are the ones that are going to go over there. I think they're going to take it off of Olisar. Like you're not going to be able to buy the bandit armor there. You'll still be able to get the marine style and the flight suits, but those bandit slots should only go to Grim Hex. That's I think, but we'll
We'll see.
find out. We'll find out, and they might introduce some new ones because they talked about new styles, new jackets. You saw that really high collar jacket. I didn't like that.
No, I didn't.
I didn't like that either. But I did
But
like
that
that
leather
red one.
jacket.
Yeah, that one with the red shoulder sides of the
Hmm.
body and the black and the zipper and stuff. That looked pretty cool. It was long sleeve, and yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. Now I'm hoping that they will release eventually some more military oriented uniform clothing options,
Me too.
like jackets and pants, and maybe a military style hat. Not a baseball cap, They got the bandanas coming out, but that's not going to do
You know,
it.
what I would like to see them do,
What's that?
instead of going through and, you know, having specific colors,
Right,
this is a red style, this type jacket, red style, this type shirt,
right,
red. Instead, just have style,
right.
and then you can choose the color.
I think they said something about we're going to be able to change the colors. There's going to be like a
Do a
palette that you
color
can pick.
palette.
Yeah, you can choose your color combinations, which means you could get more styles in the shop
And
because
you can get more personalized, like with units that are based military, like the one NAS,
right,
where we're based as a military unit,
right.
a naval unit.
Hmm.
Well, we want everybody's uniforms to be uniform, i.e., the same color, the same style, because that's what militaries do.
Right,
When you're off duty, you can wear whatever you want, but when you're on duty, you got to wear the uniform.
exactly.
And with only having a few to select from, it's kind of difficult to come up with a uniform for us. So
And I'm not really struggling with the clothes right now because there is a lot of different color choices, but the armor are all exactly the same color. So I mean,
yeah,
when you buy the Marine medium armor, you get it at green. That's it, right? I'd like to
but
be
when
able
they
to
throw
adjust
that
that.
color palette in there and we can adjust the colors on it, that'll be awesome.
That's exactly right. I
And
wish
that'll be the same with the ships.
and I hope that we'll also get rank insignia decals or some kind of like places that they can be fixed. Like how War Thunder's got like
Yep.
decals that you can put on your ship. I wish they had something like that I could pick a decal or something and I could drag and drop it onto my armor or something. That would be really cool. If not, even if they're in fixed locations, that would be cool too. I just want to have I just want to be unique, you know.
Well, and I know this is going off the deep end here,
Hey,
but
that's where we live.
this is Star Citizen, okay?
Right,
They are talking about going to where no game has gone before
right,
with stuff.
right,
So, in the organization creation that
right,
they have in place now,
right.
where you can select what the organization is,
Mhm.
then within the organization, you can select what your job is within the organization.
Right,
Well, if the organization is put in as a military organization, well, then that opens up military ranks. And then, they can have a Navy, have an Army, or whatever
hmm,
ranks available all right, well, since you are a naval organization, then these ranks are available for your organization. And they can have three or four different types, of whatever. I mean, heck, if they want, I'll even design some for them.
right, right, right.
Did I say that out loud? Anyways, and they could do the same thing for the rogue. The organizations that
The
that want to
pirates
go
or
out
whatever,
that want to go
the
out there and be
syndicates or whatever.
pirates,
Yeah,
the syndicates, or even the organizations that are out there doing mining and trade crafts.
right,
They can have a specific setup. All right, well, you're the chairman, and this is, and then you have your department heads, and then you have your local managers, and then you have your grunts, your workers, you know. But even that, that would run on the social side of what they're doing,
right.
but it's definitely doable.
Now there is supposed to be. That's another thing. There's going to be real soon. It's not on my list here, but Org 2.0. They've stopped calling it Org 2.0 now. They're just calling it the organization system. But we all know it's Org 2.0. It's the org system that's going to be updated, right? And it's supposed
Right.
to be the chat in game, can chat with people out of game. Like if you're on the website and you chat, someone in the game can get that. And we're supposed to be able to organize our fleets. We're supposed to be able to know where our players are located in game if we log into the website. We're supposed to be able to uh, put like
Well,
Teal and E on there.
if you have a headquarters, it would seem only natural to me, of course.
Right,
I believe in the KISS method. Uh,
right,
but if I'm sitting at our squadron headquarters building, I should be able to go up to a terminal as an officer of our squadron and go, I need to know where this person is right now.
right,
And it should come up and say, current location, Port Olisar.
right.
You know,
Um, there could be limits to that, but like in the same system, there should be no problem. Uh, but when you're starting
well,
to
that's
talk
the
about
whole
having to go
idea of the
through,
mobi-glass, though.
but when you start having to go through the jump points, I can see where there might be a delay on that.
Maybe a delay, yes. I can understand a delay,
Last known location, sure.
but you know, the Moby Glass is supposed to be this almighty powerful tool
Right.
for the PTU, and that has all the current information about you on it. Well, that it would only stand to reason that a headquarters for a unit who has a member should be able to track them wherever they are with their Moby Glass.
But no, no, because
Big
then
Brother's watching.
yeah, because pirates can hack it, or if it doesn't have that kind of a broadcast capability. It's not. If you're out in deep space, you're not going to know exactly where the guy is because you know. But they did talk about. I'm going to jump to somewhere. I thought I had it on here. Maybe I didn't. Something to do player service beacon, right? Number 13.
Yeah,
The player service beacon is basically what you're kind of talking about, but the players can initiate a mission like hey, I need a pickup at Korea and I need to be taken to Port Olisar, you can put
Yep.
that out there, and then anybody that wants to take that mission can accept it. And then they'll fly into Korea, pick you up, and fly you to Olisar. Because
Or
and
like you said, if you're out in space and you run out of fuel, you can put it out there. Hey, need fuel at this location,
right,
paying X amount of credits for a fill up.
right, and then
And
that
if anybody wants to accept it and for that
star
amount of money, they there they
Starfarer
go.
flies out and gives you fuel.
Yep.
And so that's going to be great when it comes to because there's been times that I would be stranded, floating in space somewhere, and in the chat I would ask, "Hey, can somebody come pick me up?" That's not what they want. They don't want you to have to type it in the chat. They want you to put it up on the Mobi so that everybody that's got their Mobi, when they look to see what kind of missions are available, they'll say pilot stranded, and then it'll be you, and then they can click it and go out and rescue this pilot,
Well,
which just
if you
happens to
notice
be
right,
you.
well, if you notice right now on the Moby Glass, you have your primary missions
Right,
and you have your secondaries.
right.
Right now they're running the secondaries as PI missions. And I'm assuming that's where a player based job would pop up, would be under secondaries.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends. Maybe it's based on how much money you get for
Or they might
it.
put in another section that's just, primary, secondary player,
Could be
where
that.
player are offering out contracts
Yeah.
there and you can screen through them and find one or whatever.
And I
But
don't
I'm excited for it too.
and I don't need my completed missions to be listed on that list. Because you notice
Right.
that they're first, the primary, secondary, and completed. Those
Right.
completed missions can be taken off of that and put into my journal.
Yep.
They don't need to be there. But okay, but enough of that. We just skipped something. Okay, Levski, right? Levski is going to, when they have the procedural planets and they put a planet that we can fly from orbit to planet in the PTU or into the microverse or whatever you want to call it, the Levski is going to be on one of those planets
Right.
temporarily. And Levski is giant. It's a big city, is what they call it, and it's going to be underground mostly. But you've seen the video where he flies into the
It's an
crater and
asteroid.
stuff like that, right? But it's not going to be when they cut it out of the asteroid and they put it on this planet. It's going to actually be a city on the planet. It might be underground, but it's still going to be there. And when you fly in, there's not just going to be like one or two landing zones. They've got to make multiples because there's going to be hopefully more than 24 people in the universe. But right now they only have 24 people in the universe. Everybody's physics is being represented to every player, whether he's near you or far from you. So, like, I'm way out at Yella, and someone spawns a Starfarer in at Olisar, my game stutters because the entire thing is being rendered for everyone. It's just so far away I can't see it, but it's still going into my instance, and they're trying to spread that out. Like I don't need to know when that guy takes off from Olisar, you
Well,
know?
that's because we're all in the same system.
Right. But even so, even in the same system, if it's not within a few thousand kilometers or whatever, I shouldn't be getting that information.
Right.
There should be only the people that are, I don't know how far. That's up to them to decide. But only the people that are so close to this guy should know that there's a Starfarer there. I shouldn't even need to know that. I don't need to know that. And that's what's causing the lag spikes. You'll see and the Starfarer is the big one that they're complaining about because it's so intricate and so much information. When it spawns in, I hear about that. Everybody in the system hears about it. I mean,
Yeah, we'll wait till the Bengal spawns in.
I know, right? Everybody will just like immediately crash the desktop or something. I don't know, but they need to make those separate. Like if it's so far away I can't see it, it doesn't need to be on my. It
Because
doesn't need to
what
tell
was
me.
what was it they were saying in it was either two or three, the one where they were showing the Bengal. Um, the main guns that hang off the bottom of this thing
Yeah.
are bigger than an Idris.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna see a video. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, so let's continue on. We've got a little bit more cargo. Okay, number 10. Cargo's coming soon. They talked about
Yep.
how now with the new locations, they're going to give incentive to fly back and forth using cargo. That's going to spawn piracy attacks, and it's going to spawn protection. So
Right.
you're going to have more player created missions, but they could also just as easily say there's AI ships flying back and forth that we have to protect or attack,
Right.
with the mission system. And that'll be super awesome. But it's more than just cargo. It's more than just missions. There's going to be different types of commodities like radioactives or fabric or wood or steel or whatever, right? And so we're going to get to pick and choose what we want to buy, or carry, and then we carry it somewhere. So they're going to be experimenting with market also, and that's kind of an exciting step right there to the game, I think.
Yes.
And I think
It's
that's
it's
also
startup of the economy.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
they've
going to
got
come
a
with
little
7.
bit of the economy going right now as far as
Yeah.
being able to buy things and earn uh, money right now to buy those limited things.
Hmm.
But when you start putting into where people can actually start doing cargo transports, now you're talking about getting the economy really going.
Now, what they need with that system is the ability for a player, which I think will come with the beacon system, a player to be able to pay another player. Because right now you can't. I can't
Right,
say, come get me, I'll give you 1,000 credits. I can't do it
right.
because it doesn't happen. But as soon as I can start giving you money, that would be pretty cool. But it'll also be an opportunity to be abused. So we just
Right.
they'll have to keep their eyes on it. That's all.
Because this is the thing, the way I was understanding it, all right, if I've got a player um, thing I need done, say I need fuel.
Right.
Okay, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I've totally run out of fuel. So I could put out, uh, need fuel at this location. We'll pay 100,000 UEC.
Right.
Okay. When somebody accepts that mission and comes out to where I'm at, you know, it's not clear how this is going to work. Once I get my fuel, am I going to, on the player side, on my side, as the one who initiated it, will I have a complete that I need to check off? This is, we don't know how it's going to work yet, but it would only make sense that, all right, I offered 100,000, they filled me up. I hit a complete button that the mission is completed, that I contracted out,
Mm-hmm.
and then the money automatically gets transferred to this person who completed the mission.
I'm going to assume, and it's never right to assume, but I'm
I
going
know.
to I'm going to pre-assume that you're going to build a mission, and one of the lines is when this mission is fulfilled, how much are you paying? And you're going to
Right,
type in that 100,000 credits.
right.
Nothing will happen until someone down the road sees on their mobiGlas, Aaron needs a pickup 100,000 credits. Oh yeah, I'll take that. They click it. They come out and they refuel you when the computer or the server realizes that this mission's done. You'll automatically be stripped of your 100,000 credits,
Right.
and his bank account will automatically increase by 100,000 credits. It'll be out of your hands basically.
It'll
Um,
already leave once I generate the mission.
Now, I don't
And the
know if it'll leave until it gets completed, but the problem with that is, what if you have 2 missions pending, but you only have enough money to pay for one? And so somebody comes to do this, and then they get paid. Now the next guy comes in, it'll have to automatically come up and say, this mission is ended, because you know that like right now, like when like an array, like you'll select a mission to go fix an array, but if somebody
Mhm.
gets there first and they fix it, it'll pop up that mission's no longer available, and that might be what they'll do. Like you could have multiple missions with only a little limited amount of money. Once or if you go run into a store while you're waiting for your mission to get complete, and you spend enough money that you can't complete the mission anymore, it might just say this mission is ended.
But from a security standpoint,
Yeah.
it's going to be a nightmare for CIG and RSI.
As long as it's in game money, it shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Yeah,
As
but
long as
you
it's
know
not
what you know the issue you're gonna have that all games have.
gold mining.
Yes. They're gonna, you know,
Right.
they'll say, all right, well, here's how you need to get your money from
Yeah.
us.
If you
You
come
just
visit
bought
me, I'll
one
pay you.
million UEC. All right, I'm gonna put a mission up. You need to accept it right away. Then get there. I'm gonna have a full tank, but it's gonna give you a complete, and there's your money transaction.
Right. Even if it's just come take me from point A to point B. Take me from
Exactly.
pad 1 to pad 2. You know, and
Yep.
as soon as you do that, you get paid like 10 million UEC.
Yeah.
And
You
people will
know,
do it, and then I need you to pay me like $10 or whatever, however much it is.
whatever
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
you're gonna see mining like that, and that's just gonna have to be moderated and reported and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
That's why I said it's going to be a security issue, and it's something that they're going to have to deal with
right.
either on the CGI or CIG platform or the RSI, one of the two.
Well, I've already seen people buy 30 dragonflies. Or like this one guy showed his account online that he had 100 dragonflies. Why the hell do you need 100 dragonflies? Why?
Exactly.
He's going to sell them.
Oh yeah.
You know he is. He's going to either sell. He's claiming. I don't
Yeah.
believe this to be true. Some of it is. He's claiming to give those away as prizes for subscribers on his channel or whatever. How many are you going to give away? 20, 30 of them? Okay, what happened to the other 70 of them? You're selling them.
Mm-hmm.
You know he is. He's going to wait for them to go off the market because they're the limited edition yellow ones, you
Uh-huh.
know, and he'll sell them. And I think, whatever. Okay, and he's a pirate organization too, but we won't get into all that. Okay, um, now we're going to talk about NPCs coming soon, probably with the cargo. Um,
Right.
keep the audience occupied. I have to go. I'll be back in like 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
I'll try
So
not to get in
anyways,
camera because you know what my issue.
um, so cargo, we talked about that. NPCs coming soon. More than likely, they talked about that when the cargo comes out, they'll be coming out with the NPCs also, which is a good thing. So that right now they're dealing with the interaction between you and them, um, coming up with storylines and conversation lines, and working them in with the different voice textures between male, female. Uh, the soft spoken person versus the gruff spoken person. They're dealing with the storylines and building them up. So they had good talk about it. Hopefully it'll come out with cargo. Can't wait. Because once they get the NPCs working, uh, we're good to go as far as missions. And that's the other thing with NPCs is getting the missions that we'll be doing story lined up. So they're working hard on that. They're making good progress. The director and the producers are really hyped and saying it's all looking good, and they can't wait for us to see it. Hopefully, we'll get it with cargo. Um, as far as uh, air to ground, that's coming up soon. Um, they haven't given anything, no projections as to whether or not it's going to come out in the 2.5, but we'll see.
Hey, what
But
were we talking about?
NPCs, I talked as much as I could about the NPCs coming soon
Oh yeah,
and how they're building up the stories with them and the different influxations with the voices, between male, female, gruff, soft spoken, blah blah blah. And I just started touching on air to ground, which they're
right.
talking about, and
Yeah, Tony Zervek, right? He
yep,
put out that information about the NPCs, and he's talking about subsumption, which basically all that means is the NPCs are going to be able to make decisions. That's really
yep.
all it is. Uh,
But
now,
that they're having to build the storylines, and the voices and all that.
right, but the what I wanted to talk about was he um, subtly. I mean, it was like he touched it and kept moving. What he was talking about was the he mentioned that subsumption. There's going to be a bartender, hypothetically, right?
Right.
I'm paraphrasing right now, but there's going to be like a bartender, and a couple of people are going to get into a fight, right? Could be players, could be NPCs, whatever. They're going to be getting into a fist fight. And then somebody will drop a glass and it'll break on the ground. That bartender or whoever has to make a decision. Is he going to clean up this glass or is he going to break up the fight? And so, yeah, of course, the bartender's going to go break up the fight, right? Now, if he doesn't want somebody to drop and break a piece of glass, have the bartender go, okay, it's time to clean up the glass. He goes out and starts cleaning up the glass. And then this bar fight starts for him to ignore that and continue to sweep up the glass. The bartender's going to have to realize that something's changed. He's going to have to stop doing what he's doing and adjust his attention to the bar fight,
Right.
which I thought just that alone was like, it sounds like a no-brainer, but I'm sure that's like super hard, complicated math, right? That you got to figure out. But the point that I'm trying, what opened my eyes was not the whole AI and subsumption and all that. We're going to be able to have bar fights. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm like, he mentioned bar fight, and I'm like, okay, then I'm having a bar fight. I'm going to be able to like throw my glasses and knock somebody out. So that's. I could care less about the subsumption part of it. I was excited when he said we're going to have bar fights.
Yeah.
Okay, so my wife should be strolling in any minute now, but okay. Uh, yeah, she's a school teacher and she has like a night class that she has to teach and stuff. Okay, enough of that. Another thing that he mentioned was what else? What do I have on there? Oh, air to ground. Right.
Right.
He said that if he wants a different feel, like a different emotional feeling for a player that is in a first-person combat, like shooting down a hallway or a spaceship or whatever. You're shooting, as opposed to when you're getting strafed from above by a fighter or a ship is shooting you while you're running through the woods. And I'm thinking to myself, what? I'm gonna be able to strafe somebody on the ground? I'm like, okay, sweet. Why not, right? Because if you have the procedural planets and I'm flying in and that guy is out there in his dragonfly or whatever and he went to the river and he's fishing for crocodiles or whatever and I fly over him, why can't I shoot him? I should be able to shoot him,
Yeah.
right? So,
I mean, nothing stops him from shooting us now. I mean, just the other day, I had a hornet fly up in front of me on a mission where I was fixing a comm station. And as soon as I came outside, he sat there, pulled right up in front of me like I'm going to be able to shoot him with
that
my
was last night.
handheld
Yeah,
weapon,
yeah.
and just blasted me away with his main guns on his hornet. It's like, dude, really? Come on, get out of there and fight me like a real man, you know? Jeez. Talk about your overkill.
No, fight smarter, not harder. So that's what he's doing. But I think that's a symptom of the free fly. You got people that don't know what they're doing. They're just in having fun, just blowing people away. They don't care. They might not even plan to back the game or even play the game. They're just doing the free fly because it's free. And then there's also a symptom of it being summer. And so you got a bunch of kids playing and they're just playing like griefers or pirates or whatever because they don't have anything else better to do. So, okay. So that's probably why you just got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've just skipped over the NPCs coming soon, probably with cargo. Mining, they said mining should be the next thing after cargo.
Right.
That's good. That means, they've got it on a roadmap. They've planned it out that they already know what's going to be in the next couple of patches, right? Okay, and they said that'll be next year. Mining and salvage should be next year. Air to ground, player service beacon, NPCs, blah, blah, blah. The only thing we haven't, okay,
The Bengal.
the bangle, right? I have a video that I want to show the peeps about the bangle, right? Okay, so let me see if I can't find it. It's right here. And we're gonna kind of all take a look at it. And I'm gonna pause it from time to time to point something out or to show it off or whatever. But this is mainly for the players. Okay, there we go. This all came from Around the Verse. I think it was Around the Verse 2. It might be 3. I don't remember. But here we go. Let's take a look. The Bengal carrier. Before we go into before we even do that, I want to bring something up. This is the issue that I want to make. I'm going to bring up my Robert Space Industries website. You can all see, whoa, what just happened to all my screens? They all disappeared. Okay, so Robert Space Industries, let's shrink that. Let's go to Star Citizen funding. Okay, uh, let's take a look. I'm going to go to uh, the, what do they call these things? The milestones or whatever. Way back when, right? We're talking about 8/31/2012 when the campaign started. Okay, we're talking about Squadron 42. We're talking about 30 missions in Squadron 42, right? Well, there's going to be a lot more than that. But okay, the point is, as we were backing, as we were paying money in, at the 2 million mark, they released this as things. But they would tell us this, hoping to get to the 2.5 million mark. And then they would tell us about this, and they would have a list of targets to hit, right? So we already knew about these targets before we were backing. And I'm going to scroll down a little bit for everybody to where it talks about the Bengal. Okay, they added a bunch of planets depending on the systems and stuff like that. Squadron 42 was increased to 45 missions, right? But we've well past exceeded all those marks, and then we're going to get all the way up to, wait, I think we're close. Right,
Bengal.
5.5 million. That was a long time ago. What is that word right there? The Bengal carrier as a playable ship class. Okay, so they're saying way back when that, and they're going to have professional motion capture for Squadron 42. That's great. Okay, but still, 5.5 million. We knew the Bengal was going to be a playable ship, and there's
Yep.
people saying, "No, it's just for Squadron 42. We couldn't. No, we could play it."
Yep.
Now, let's back up now.
You can't buy it.
Right, you can't buy it. Now, this is my being the devil's advocate here. What's the definition of playable? It doesn't say flyable. It says playable. Okay? So my understanding was back in those days, back in the 5.5 million days, they were talking about the Bengal being a location that players would go to, board, and play on the Bengal and take it over, and their organization would claim it for their own and stuff like that. But it would be a derelict. It wouldn't have engines, or it would just be sitting out there, and you could maybe repair it and stuff like that, fix the turrets, things like this, but you couldn't fly it. That was total, and I understood that. But it's been a playable ship. But the Bengal is not going to be the largest playable ship. It's not going to
No,
be
it's not.
right. There are other ships. There's something called a battle cruiser, which I think people are now calling the Redemption or
No, I was just
Revenge.
looking at.
It's a Redemption, right? That's the battle cruiser. But we're going to continue on. Oculus Rift support was at 12 million. So you know you're going to get Oculus Rift support. So don't even fret that, because they promised it, you paid for it, right? That has been paid for, so you will have to get it. But guess what? It says the hangar module will feature Oculus Rift. It doesn't say the game will. It says hangar module.
Yeah.
Okay. so maybe you do want to fret about it. But okay, here
All
we
right.
go.
The two largest. Well, no, that's not true. Because under capital ships, the only two they're listing right now is the Javelin destroyer and the Idris.
Right, we're getting there. We got
But
the additional ship class. the escort carrier.
Right.
Okay, so there's going to be an escort carrier out there somewhere. We already know about that. That's the Pegasus, right? Okay, and then we scroll on down, and we got flyable ship class. Flyable, the battle cruiser. Okay, if flyable isn't playable, then I don't know what it is. But you're going to be able to fly the battle cruiser. They're saying we can now fly the Bengal, which is pretty cool. That's so they're exceeding what we had paid for, but I can't wait for the battle cruiser. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but they're going to have a hell of an AI, or you're going to have a hell of an org to fly it effectively.
Oh, I
Because
know, I know.
that's a lot of people to
Yeah,
man that ship.
yeah. I just yeah, I know, but it's gonna be an option. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then now right here, manage space stations. Okay, so players will be able to compete to own and operate limited number of space stations across the galaxy. Okay, so my understanding was the Bengal was going to be one of those. It was going to be like a station that you could take over and stuff. But things have changed. Okay, and then blah, blah, blah. They talk about the Idris, and then they call it the Corvette, but we already know it's been changed to the frigate, and now they're reintroducing a new Corvette, which is the Polaris, which I think I'm going to pick up. Um, but we'll see. Yeah, and then it's talking about the Bano Trader and all that, and consolidated all elements. Now you're starting to get into the 29 million mark, but guess where they're at now? 100 plus million, 100 and something million, right? There's the RSI Orion, the 890 Jump, and blah blah blah. It goes all the way through. Carrick, what's this Aegis Surveyor? I don't know what that is. I guess we'll figure that out later. Okay, but let's get to the video, right? I have a video. I might have closed it. Player, Windows Media Player. There
You
we go.
minimize, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to play through this video. And if you haven't seen this video, I'm sure you already have. But, I mean, everybody watching the show, if you haven't seen this video, just kind of take a look at it. That's the Idris in the back over there.
Right. And the guns hanging down out the bottom are bigger than it.
Yeah, these are multi-crew turrets. They're so big that they are multi-crew. This is inside. This is a
This is the
retaliator
landing
being
bay.
right. This is the main hangar area. This is a retaliator being brought up from below. I don't like the clipping that happens right here. Um, you'll see it when it comes up. Yeah, these things just go straight to the floor. You know, I'm sure that has to be fixed.
They'll work it.
Right, and then this walkway, I can only imagine having our guns out, shooting people like the old like Star Wars shooting the stormtroopers down the end of the hall. That would be so cool. Look at the size of those turrets. Dang.
Uh-huh.
These are missile turrets.
There's the bridge.
And then, okay, I wanted to show this because it kind of showed the way the front of the
Landing bay.
the launch ramp or whatever opens up so that you can launch out from there. There's two ways, and everybody's okay. I'm gonna pause it here. There's two ways, but they suspect there's going to be multiple ways to take off from the Bengal, and we'll talk about that. But people are curious, like, what are these up here?
Landing pads.
I don't think so. I think these will open or they will launch out as lifeboats. I think these might be like
Escape pods?
escape pods, or they're like ship-to-ship missile launchers. You know,
Uh,
like tomahawks or whatever. I was thinking that these would pop out and the missiles would launch out and fly out and engage your enemy.
because I know one of these videos I was looking at, one of them showed somewhere along the main bone of the ship as it was
Uh-huh.
flying by,
Yeah.
you could see ships, smaller ships, basically parked.
Oh, we're getting there. We'll get there.
Okay.
They're bigger than that though. They're right in this area. Okay, there's the Saber next to one of the engines, which is pretty cool. That's the giant railgun you're talking about, which
Yeah.
is, and there's the Idris right there, so you can see it's about the same size. Uh, they say you can fit an Idris inside here, You can't fly it in because the doors aren't big enough, but you can fit it in there. And
You
then
could
here's the
park it in there,
launch.
but you can't fly it in. So, and look, there's a whole squadron of sabers right there.
Uh, Gladys.
Are they Gladius or
Hmm.
sabers? I saw
They're
the twin
Gladys.
wings, twin
Now,
fins. I thought they were sabers.
okay, now you're gonna see these little doorways here. If you pay close attention, they say cargo hold. They don't say like launch tube or ramp or anything like that. Um, if you look real well, I don't remember. See, that's Gladys.
Yeah.
Um, I'll try to pause it, and we're gonna go back and watch this video a couple more times, and we're gonna look at the different things. The lighting's pretty cool, and it starts over, right? Okay, stop. Okay, you got your missiles, Idris back there, big, huge railgun, and then,
Yeah.
but you've got these little. There's four on both sides. They look like old Battlestar Galactica Viper
Launch tubes.
launch
Yeah.
tubes, right? And so, and they very well could be, but it's hard to tell. I see lighting inside, but it's and you know that in Star Citizen there are force fields, so you can actually have your door open and still have the force field, just like Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever will have to prevent the vacuum from coming in or the air from escaping, right? So if these are doorways and they're open, that still could be a launch tube, or something. So let's continue on. There's a couple more things. Um, is that a maneuvering thruster?
If it is, it's kind of small for that ship.
I'm thinking this ship's not going to be able to maneuver. Well, it shouldn't, right? Because it's a gigantic monster of a ship, right? So it shouldn't be just dogfighting. It's not going to. I mean, that's
Oh
ludicrous.
no.
It should be slow and lumbering. Like, I mean, it might go pretty quick in a straight line, but not faster than a fighter. Not
No,
faster
heck
than a.
no.
No, anything should be. The Idris should be able to catch it. It should be, 30 knots, whatever. Okay, so here we go. Oh, wait, whoop, skipped it. Let's go back just a hair. Nope, back a hair. Further. Right there. That's the saber.
Yep.
Okay. And that's bigger than these things right there. So I don't see that being the landing zone.
Well, here it comes right here.
Right here. This is, and that's
There it
kind of,
is.
I know it's kind of dark, but you've got like, if you look real close, there's four Gladius parked right here.
Yeah.
There's four Gladius, and then you've got these turrets here, and they say that they think these are going to be ship to ship weapons. So like if you have about like a king ship or something flying over here, and then this Bengal just for whatever reason gets close enough to shoot at something, we'll have these weapons that can shoot. The Bengal's not a battleship. The Bengal should not be engaged in any kind of capital ship fight. That's not what it's made for, right? It has retaliators and fighters and bombers, gladius, I guess, gladiators that can do all the bombing. Just like in World War II, you don't want your carrier doesn't meet up with a battleship. The battleship would kill it instantly.
Yep.
So it's got to stay at distance and use its long range weapons, which is its fighters, its planes, right? So they say that this right here, I'm postulating, theory crafting, that this is like an anti-missile, like an inbound missile, like a Vulcan, right? Like so, if
Right.
something's
Like the
flying in,
Vulcan system we have now.
right, it'll like and try to knock, but it'll also shoot planes. If you fly too close, it'll like a point defense gun, right?
Yep.
But then you got your missile launchers here. There's four of them. That's pretty awesome. And then the flying bridge, which is up here. Here we go. There's those launch tubes that I'm thinking. But these are on a deck lower than this. Okay. Uh, People don't realize that there are like three primary decks for ships. The top one up here is kind of a
It's the
uh,
flight deck.
it's the flight deck. It's a rapid deployment deck. But this is not when we watch this ship take off. It does not come out of here. This is not where it's coming. It's not like zooming out of here. I think these are taxiing out to here, and then you take off.
Well, later on in the movie, it shows that one ship launching from inside.
Yeah, but I don't think it's here because the shape is different. This
Okay.
is more of a square shape, right? I don't know. It just we'll have to take a closer look. And these are the sides. Uh, it's bringing the retaliator from below. I think there is another deck up here where those gladiuses are. Because I think, and I could be wrong. I mean, this might be the main Gladius deck, and there might be those triangular launch bays are down there. See where it says cargo bay?
Mm-hmm.
See those triangular things? I don't think that's these right here. I don't think that's those. I think they're lower. I think the place that's being taken off from is this area. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, but where is that area? Is that up in the very front of the ship?
That is the front of the ship. Yeah. There's one of those also in the back. There is a clamshell that opens up in the front, and then there's also a ramp that opens up in the back. It doesn't show you in these pictures. I don't see
Yeah,
any.
it does. Well, back up,
Oh
back up.
wait. Oh, we might hit it right here.
Yeah, right there.
Um, yeah, this part right here opens
Yeah,
up. So, in
but
effect, this whole section here is all flight deck, and the crew is only up in this top section,
right.
the crew quarters or whatever, and probably down here.
See, watch.
Yeah, that section right there, that right there is inside, right? And
Right.
then and then this is space
But see, look. Here's the. You know how on the aircraft carrier they have the thrust panels that come up out of the floor?
right there.
They're right there.
Right, or no, I'm saying you do take off here, but this
But
this level is not the level that we're looking at outside,
you
because
don't think
we
so?
no, because those there needs to be more of a runway. It stops. That's why I think this is the front.
Okay.
I think this part here that we're looking at the is the wide section of the front of the ship. I don't know. I'm kind of
Because there's the downstairs storage for ships.
right. If it comes up to a side view again, the front of the front view, and I don't think this area here is the same area. I think it's a different area. It might be the same one because you got the same ramp in the doorway right there. It could be the same area. They might only be wanting us to see. Okay, it went by too fast. But this section right here is the wide area up front. I mean, we can go back a couple that area,
Yeah.
and this is where I think they're launching from inside here, and
Okay.
they're shooting out there. Like this is like the front hangar. I think there's multiple hangars.
Gotcha.
Like this is the front area where you got the cargo on the sides possibly, and they're
Yeah.
shooting out there.
Where
But
that one can only hold maybe the small and mediums, but where you can actually go with a large back here.
it could very well be this area. But and these would have to be clear obviously because you're going to be shooting straight out.
Right.
But maybe it's just an illusion that when we're inside we can't see the outside. It might be dark, and that's why it looks like it ends.
Right.
You know, uh, hmm. I might have to pull out some old Bengal pictures because the Bengal hasn't changed. It really hasn't changed. It's just they just cleaned it up.
Well, hang on. I'm
You
on the
know.
website here.
Okay.
Let me go to that section.
Yeah, I know. And if you're on with us and we're if you're on with us and you've got some different opinion, then I think a lot of people have different opinions because we're probably wrong. We're probably wrong. You're probably right, but we're just excited about it. See, these are all rooms upstairs for crew and stuff, and along the sides. Okay, that is the front of the ship, and see how it's got that hammerhead look to it, like the old what was that submarine with the flying sub?
Oh, Sequest
Sequest. It's got that old Sequest front,
or Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Yeah,
was the original one.
yeah. And well, and see, I think guys are coming out of here. It's opening up, but when it opens, I don't know if I did cut it off. You can see that there's those launch, like that's rapid launch areas right there. You got to go way
I
back
am. I am.
when back in an old, maybe a wingman's
Jump Point.
hangar. I wouldn't even in a jump point. Okay, but I was gonna go back to like an old wingman's hangar, like when they had the 24-hour live stream or something like that. They had this the Bengal where you could actually walk around inside. They not actually walk around inside of it, but they were showing the lighting and stuff and how big it was. And if you opened up the back and you opened up the front, well, look at behind me. Oh, I think that's the Idris. Okay. Yeah. You could actually, or the video of the Bengal. Yeah, the video of the Bengal. Um, in the Squadron 42 trailer, right, where it shows the Hornets, the guys walking up to the Hornets, getting in, taking off, and flying out, and stuff like that. I think they're actually flying out the back of the Bengal. I don't think they're flying out the front. So I think there's multiple ways that you can get in and out of the Bengal. Let's back this up a little bit. I want to get back to the outside. It doesn't. Oh, wait. Now, see, they cut it off right before we get there. Yeah, I think there's 3 decks. I think there's the one where you come in the back, where you land, the landing deck. Then your ship gets moved to like a middle deck, which would take off from the front, right? And then there's the rapid response deck or the quick reaction force deck up here on the top. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And people are estimating that you're going to be see because I don't see the landing. I think this is the front. I think this part is the part of the ship that opened up in the front, and this is like the wide section. I don't know. It's too narrow though. It's kind of too narrow here, based on the thickness back here. Unless it's like a TARDIS, where it's bigger on the inside. You got these cranes that can lift it up to the next deck. Or I guess you could hover, I guess you could fly around inside. You could almost see underneath. Down there, almost. But that's pretty cool. You're going to be able to get your retaliators in there. You're probably going to be able to get your, I don't think a Starfarer is going to fit in there. Yeah, it's got enough space for a Starfarer, but it can't get through the doors. It'll have
Right.
to. So, and they're supposed to be big capital ship refueling. I don't think a Starfarer is going to refuel this ship. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have some kind of big, huge capital ship. I guess once we get it in our hands and we can walk around in it, then we'll figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We'll find out then, but
Right. Now,
for sure.
some people are saying that if it's a military ship, that there's going to be restricted areas that you're not going to be able to go into. Yeah, that's true. But what if you own the Bengal? Like you've captured it and you occupy it, it's yours. You're going to be able to go wherever you want. In Squadron 42, sure, you might not be able to go everywhere. Yep. Actually so. Yeah. So did you have any like final comments about the Bengal before we start maybe answering a few questions that somebody might pop in on us?
I'm excited. Can't wait for it. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for Squadron 42. They're really psyching me up for it. I hope everybody else is getting as excited as myself for the anticipation of the game, Squadron 42 coming out, because that just means that we're so much closer to the full-blown version of Star Citizen coming out, and I'm just excited and want to see it.
All right. So if you have a question for us, put it in the chat, and we'll see if we can't answer it, or do our best to answer it. And we'll only take a couple of minutes to do this, and then we'll be done with the show because we've already been on an hour and a half. Give it a little time for them to for the stream to get caught up, so they know we're asking for questions. We're not normally a question and answer kind of group. We just tell you, but we tell you and you just have to take it. No, that's fine. Oh, the eye patch. Okay, it doesn't look like we have anybody that's got any questions, so we'll just end it here then. All right, guys, thanks for coming out and checking out this video, and we'll be back on again in 2 weeks on Monday. So please like and subscribe the video if you like it. If you want to make any donations, go ahead and click on the donation button at the bottom. And thank you, Aaron, for coming out and joining me again.
My pleasure.
All right, mine too, and I guess I'll see you at midnight. I mean, not you, but anybody else that's on, because I do that every night at midnight. We do a live stream for maybe an hour. All right, like Lee, only Lee, no, yeah, 456. All right, see you.
All right, we'll see you.